Hi guys, so welcome to Pajamas and Footies with Kima. So get comfortable, snuggle up, and grab a snack. So this episode is called Allow Me to Introduce Myself Part 2. And on this episode, I'm just going to do a continuation of Allow Me to Introduce Myself Part 1. So I just wanted to talk about what I forgot. I forgot to mention that when I was in high school, my mom had placed me and my sister. We applied for SSP, which is student sponsorship partner. So it's like basically you apply, and once you get accepted, they pay for a majority of your Catholic high schooling education. So it's like mainly for low income families. So like, let's say if you won't be able to like really afford going to Catholic high school, they would pay for like majority of the tuition for you, and you'll get assigned a sponsor who puts money into, and they're like basically your role model. Like they would take you out places. Like my sponsor would take me out like once a month, and it was just so nice because I don't know, it was just like a form, a way for me to like escape a little bit, like I said, in high school and stuff like that, you're like finding yourself and like that. So it was just like, I don't know, it was just like a form of escape for me, because it was just like I looked up to my sponsor, and she was very nice. She worked at a bank, and she would tell me about her job and the position she held, and she would just take me all around Manhattan, and we would just go like on different trips. We'll go, visit museums, and we would look at the artwork. We would go to different places to eat. She was a foodie. She was like a total foodie. Like, it was not even funny. And we would just go like to like, different restaurants and stuff, Thai food restaurants, different types, even, I don't know, it was like ones I didn't even know about, and we would just go all around like Manhattan, and I really appreciated that, because it's just like, I don't know, I looked up to her, and it's just like she represented like an independent woman for me. So yeah, I really love that, and I appreciated her for that. Sometimes I wanted to just like, I don't know, like years later, like let's say, if you like make it one day, just like reach out to her and tell her like thank you for everything she has done for me, and like so she could see like the progress you have made and where you are now. She was so like really sweet. It's just like I appreciated that so much, especially during the time of high school. Like it just meant so much to me. That, and like I said, the pre-college program at FIT and the other programs I did, that was for free. So I appreciated that so much. It was just like every time I'm into Manhattan, I just feel like it has the flair of like you can accomplish and achieve everything. Like if you ever been to visit New York City and you've been to like, Manhattan, it's just like it gives off the feeling of like you can accomplish anything. That's why like when I was younger, I used to love to always tell my father like, Dad, can you please drive me around Fifth Ave or Madison so I could see all the high-end fashion stores like Versace and Prada and Gucci? He'd be like, okay, Kimo. And he'll swing around, and just drive me and go down the block and stuff like that. And I'll be like, one day, I'll own a store, like, in that area, like a high-end store, like, I don't know, it's just, Manhattan gives off that feeling. Especially, like, if you go to, like, the financial district. I don't know, it's just, like, or, like, Wall Street area. It just gives you that feeling, like, you could accomplish anything and, gear up in a suit and become a business person, like, and get a briefcase. I don't know, like, that's why I always love going to Manhattan. I don't know, it just gives me that feel that you can accomplish anything, like anything is possible. So in high school, I had went to FIT open house, and one of the things I forgot to mention in the first video was that when I had went there and we all went to the auditorium to hear one of the faculty say a speech, he was basically telling us that if you can design, you can design anything. Let's say if you're a fashion designer, if you can design, you can design anything. And I just feel like that is like so, it's true. It's so true. It's like not even funny, because ever since he said that, I just like dived in and just like explored different avenues. Like I don't just do fashion design for women. I explored doing it for men, and it actually came out with some nice designs for children, for different areas. Like I also design accessories, which are heels, purses, everything. I design jewelry. I don't know, anything you could think of. I designed the logo, for that I want for my company. I designed everything. So it was just like I don't know, I just feel like I have a good eye for that, like designing and seeing how things are gonna come together and become cohesive, and just like I said, doing it under a budget. Like, I just feel like you don't have to have, not just for clothing, hair, and makeup, like for everything overall, you don't have to have like the most expensive stuff to really pull things in together and making it look good. You know what I mean? And just by like Pinterest, you can go on Pinterest, get some inspiration, or you can, you know, go on YouTube. But I don't know, it's inspiration everywhere. Like when I was in FIT, my pre-college program, our teacher, she had told us to all buy Vogue magazines. You know what I mean? And she said, I want you guys to get these Vogue magazines. She had them and she showed us it. And my friend there, like the other student, he was like, you ever had a Vogue magazine? I was like, no, I never had one. He was like, everybody was like, I was like, no, I never, like, you know, got a subscription and got one. He said, how you want to be a fashion designer? You never got a Vogue magazine. I was like, I know. Because like, I never, like, the only thing I would really like look at more so is, like I said, like the music videos, get inspired by that. Look at the TV shows and stuff like that. I never really like, and like behind the scenes of films, stuff like that, how they put the characters together in their costume and their clothing. But I never opened up and cracked open a Vogue magazine. She was like, you have to study a Vogue magazine. She said, it is the fashion Bible. It is the holy grail. You know what I mean? And she gave us a Vogue magazine, and it was a September issue. She was like, it's the biggest issue ever out of the whole year, September issue. And she was telling us like how it's ran by like the editor-in-chief is Anna Wintour. And ever since then, I like dived in deep. Like, I got a subscription, and I had it for years, a subscription, but I haven't had one recently. I would just mainly check out the Vogue Runway app. I really like it. You can see all the Vogue fashion shows, and it's like you could have it on the palm of your hand because they have a mobile app too. And I would just also study the fashion shows on YouTube. She told us to look at that too. I feel like that's so true. I like that. The only problem I have with like having students study the Vogue magazines is that a problem that I had is that once you study something, and it's like, especially if you're new in that industry, you know what I mean? It's just like new at designing, let's say, as a student, you're gonna look at other designers that's up there in rank and that are in the industry professionally, and you're gonna think, oh my gosh, I have to design like them. Some students will think like that. For me, that's kind of how I thought a little bit. Like, I felt like in the beginning I didn't really have an identity. Like, if you looked at all the fashion I did in the beginning, it all looked like haute couture or everything. It looked like high-end fashion because I'm looking at the fashion magazines, I'm seeing like a lot of haute couture. So I'm thinking that's how you're supposed to design. Of course, it's my own designs, but I'm designing. It was like very classy. It was like very red carpet, like haute couture. Like, that's how it was, high-end, and it was like very going out look, basically. So then after a while, I would still look at it, but you know, I get inspired by films, music videos, some of the photo shoots I would see in the Vogue magazine, and I developed my own style. I took life experiences that I had went through in life, and I just took all of that energy. Let's say if I was going through a tough time in life, especially I was in high school at the time, I took all of that energy and channeled it towards my designs. So if somebody would see my designs and they would ask me like, what is it about? I would probably get like very shy and not really explain to them what it deeply is about, because like I felt like I was really going through stuff at that time. So it's like, I just like mainly, I'll probably do like a rough overview, but I would never really like go dive deep. It's my diary. Like, my clothing is my diary, like on everything. Even when I want to start doing fashion films, like when I start my brand and I do fashion films, it's like, I feel like you're gonna get a little more of an insight because you're gonna see it within the film, but it's still gonna leave a little room for mystery. I would never really, I'm a very private person. I don't like, you know, like everything. I'm like so private. Like, I'm that type of person. I could live in your community for years and you would never know like my full name or my first name. Like, you would never know. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being private, but sometimes I think, I don't know, okay, dream interview. Like, I always tell myself, like, you know, my dream interview is with Oprah. So I was like, if when I'm a fashion designer and I have a brand and I go on an Oprah show and she asks me questions like, what is your, your collection about? I would just like probably like freeze up a little, like really think and like try to explain it in a way where it's not telling so full into detail with my life, but like you can get an overview of what the topic is about. So yeah, it's just like my fashion is like my diary. So like when people see it, sometimes it's like they don't realize that. I feel like when people only think that you're, I don't know, I feel like they only think like, let's say for songwriters or for filmmakers or I don't know, certain arts, painters, they would think that their art is their diary. But I feel like when it comes down to fashion, people just think that we make stuff that's like aesthetically pleasing to the eye. But no, it's like sometimes this is like when I look at my fashion, since I know what it's about and it's my diary, it makes me want to cry because like if it's like a really touchy topic, it makes me want to cry because like with my fashion I cover like different social issues or different issues. It's like crazy, like religion, feminism, different things. And it just makes me think back at that time in my life and the point that I created it. I mean, I don't know, like it's just like really touchy to me. It's like it helped me vent so much. I just feel like, fashion saved my life. Like fashion, hair, makeup, being creative. It was a way for me to vent. So, yeah. So when my teacher was telling us about like Vogue and stuff like that, and I was learning about Anna Wintour and stuff like that, I was obsessed. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta meet her. Like all the students was like, if you want to make it in the fashion industry, you have to have connections with Anna Wintour. So like me and my sister, we would watch Fashion Fun. Sometimes it would come on TV, and it was like basically a competition where the these fashion designers, they already had a brand, and Fashion Fun is like the CDFA. They had got like funds and they put it together. I think it's like, I don't know how they got the funds together, but they would put funds together, and whoever wins the competition, those funds will go towards an up and coming fashion designer, and it would help them with publicity with their brand and funding them. So me and my sister was like, yes, we gotta go on that show. You know what I mean? And it was funny because when I was in school, like people would always ask me, would you ever go on Project Runway? And I was like, I don't know, I used to always think about it because I was like, I don't know. It was like either between Fashion Fun, Project Runway, like those were like the two, options to like trying to get out there and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I had, with my fashion designs, like I said, with the magazine, I felt like, that was the only problem. But not everybody's going to take it that way, that they look at a magazine and then they're new in the fashion industry, they're a student, so they're thinking, okay, I got to design this way, this type of aesthetic. Of course, it's your designs, but it's that aesthetic, like haute couture. So I just took the stuff I was going through in life and I vented and I put it into my fashion, and I was developing my own identity. As a designer, you're going to develop your own aesthetic and your own identity. And I put like, I don't know, different elements I would like to put into collection. I don't want it to just be, I want it to be head turning. Like, I like putting like sexuality into it, like make it sexy, edgy, like over the top. And when I was in high school, like a lot of songs I would listen to, I would like channel the energy from the song and put it into my fashion. I will also channel the energy from like, let's say, looking at a film, anything, any inspiration. Like you're channeling that energy, you're getting inspired, you're getting a spark of creativity. So some songs, like my playlist I would listen to, let's say if I want to put like edginess into it, some good songs are, let's say, I used to love listening to Kanye West's Power. That was my jam. And his album, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, because it just reminded me of myself. Like sometimes I'd be like, yo, if people went in my mind and seeing what was going on, like the creative stuff I had, I just felt like it was like not all over the place in a wrong way, but all over the place in a crazy creative way. You know what I mean? And I thought of the same way with Kanye and stuff. Like when I would see his music videos and stuff, I would get inspired. Like what's that song called? I forgot. I think it's like My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and it's like with Nicki Minaj, and she's like, I'm trying to see which song it is. It's the one with Nicki Minaj, and yeah, and I related to Nicki Minaj too because like Like, you do not understand. Like, I just felt like it was another person that was like me. Like, she was over the top and crazy. Like, I loved it though. Like, she had personality. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a good thing because it helped her a lot in her career. She's like very theatrical. And I loved it. Like, Lady Gaga too. I like freaking loved it because it's just like, I remember when I was in high school and I had a collection and it was like inspired by ballet, and I was looking at the play The Nutcracker on YouTube to inspire me. I was looking at I think it's The Dark Swan, it's called Black Swan. I was looking at that and it was just like so crazy. I really liked it. And to get inspired, I was looking at just different mediums to get inspired by. Yeah, and I really wanted the like the theme song to be like ba ba boom. Like, it's like, just met a boy and went, hey, you know what I mean? Like, if I had a fashion film, it would just be so crazy. Like, I don't know, like Alice in the Wonderland, like crazy. Like, you know, like the Mad Tea Hatter and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be ordinary. I don't want to be like, you know, within a box. You know what I mean? And every single collection I do is going to touch on different social issues, you know, within the world. I don't want it in stuff that happened in my life. So how I vent. I don't want it to just be like, you just made that collection. It's just, I want it to have significance and meaning behind it and backing it. So yeah, I was inspired by because I'm into spirituality. I was inspired by Greek mythology, different theologies of the world. I was inspired by astrology, numerology, just different things like the occult, like different things that I felt like a lot of people wouldn't look into, and I would do collections about it. I was inspired by every culture. Like, that's why I love history so much. It's just like, I don't know, I find every culture to be beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, every culture, clothing wise, it offers something beautiful, like within every culture. And I just feel like you can take it, especially their let's say their, what would you call it, their let's say what their culture is known for. Let's say in Asia they're known for wearing like I forgot which country, the Oriental dress. In some countries they're known for, you know, the sari dress. So it's basically like you can take their tradition and then, you know, play it up and modify it and make it like very modernized to today's times, you know what I mean? And then add like different elements into it. So I just thought that was like, you know, very fun and just, I don't know, it's like an experiment. It's like you're playing around with all these different elements to make it all balanced out and cohesive and see how it's going to turn out. So that was like, that's my passion. Like, I'm obsessed with fashion, hair, and makeup. I can't help it. And it's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's nothing wrong with that, you know? Sometimes they make fashion to be out. Hair, fashion, makeup. Like, if you like to shop, it's like, I don't know, they say it's like egotistical that you like nice clothing or you like stuff that looks nice and stuff, but I don't know, I just think it's like a science behind it. Like, it's a balance, like it's, you know, making the whole look of someone look balanced out, you know? So let me see what else. Yeah, I feel like that's about it. Let me see. I don't know. I just feel like it's inspiration everywhere. Like, I used to be like traveling home late at night from my pre-college program on an A train and like always having my phone out because, well, I'm on my phone, and because like I could be passing by like a sunset, a beautiful sunset. Not a sunset. It would be like the sun going down. I'm sorry. And like I would take a picture of it and like it would inspire me for a collection or like another piece that I could put into a collection or add on. And the funny thing, like the craziest thing about me, like when I tell people this, they be like, what? Okay, this is one thing I could do. I could design something in my head and not draw it out and still remember it for like years. I know, it's like okay, I can also like let's say if I draw like the draft of how I want a costume to look, but I'm just drawing it real quick so I can understand of how the form of the outfit would look. Let's say it's puffy sleeves and I'm just sketching it out real quick. I can leave that in a book for years or months, still remember the idea, and then sketch it out in detail months or years later. I did that like a couple of times. And then sometimes when I show people this original sketch, just to get the rough idea out there, just to, you know, remember the silhouette, the shape of it, and then they see what it turns into, they be like, what the heck? Cause like, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, not saying forgetful, but like, I don't know, like sometimes, you know how you can forget things sometimes? They're like, how you could forget some things sometimes, but then you could like remember a whole costume or a whole outfit, you know? So yeah, that's about it. That is about it, you know? Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you a little more insight about me. And yeah, hope you could take a few things from this video, especially about, you know, creating your own aesthetic and being true to yourself as a designer. And you don't have to, I don't know, conform to like an industry. You can be original and be your own self and put your personality into it, and yeah, express yourself through your fashion. You know, your fashion is your passion, and just have fun and live life, you know what I mean? Once you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.